Well, hello, my jazzy friends. I hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe, and it's lovely to see you as always. As promised, I would be talking a little bit more about some other games and also indie games on this channel moving forward. If you're only interested in Sims and Dragon Age content, that's totally fine, but today's video I'm going to be talking about a game that I absolutely steamed through to completion, and that is Calico. This is going to be kind of a review slash general thoughts video. I'm going to try and cover every aspect of the game, so if you're curious about it, you're maybe thinking about buying it, you'll be a little better equipped to decide whether it's for you. So for anyone who doesn't know anything about the game, Calico is an indie title that released at the end of 2020 from Peachy Keen Games. The little description for it on Steam says, a day in the life community sim game, where you are given an important and adorable task: rebuild the town's cat cafe and fill it with cute and cuddly creatures. Build up your cafe by filling it with cute furniture, fun decorations, yummy pastries, and get it bustling with animals again. Anyway, this description was absolutely speaking my love language. Typically, when I game with friends, we play stuff that's a little bit more intense, a little bit more competitive. So when I dive into single player stuff, I really do like to find titles that are a little bit more low key and kind of just things at my own pace, a little bit calmer. So for me, rebuild a little cafe and make some cakes and find some cats, I was like, yeah, no, I need this game. So first off, jumping into the game, the character customization really isn't too bad at all. I think the variety that you get with facial features and hairstyles and stuff is really good, actually. The game features a colour slider for clothing items and makeup and stuff like that, which I think again is a really strong feature. You don't really have any limitations there. The only thing that I wasn't particularly fond of when it came to creating my character was lack of initial clothing options. You do have plenty of opportunities to purchase new clothes and to kind of change your character's appearance a little bit further down the road, but I do think it would have been nice to have at least a couple of different clothing options from the offset, because I wasn't really super keen on the starter clothes, even though there was quite a variety of colours and patterns and stuff. But the general aesthetic of the character is very fitting with the whole style of the game, very cute, very quirky. And you can also customize the way that you stand when you're just resting and stuff. So yeah, I think the detail on customization was actually very good, and I really liked my character, especially once I got into the world and I could change her clothes up a little bit. You start off in the game, kind of plonked outside your new cafe, and the mayor introduces herself and lets you know your kind of just general overall objectives, and you go from there. The aesthetic of the game itself is immediately very distinctive. In the beginning, I wasn't too sure about it, but I love it. I really, really love it. It's a very different feel to everything else I've played. I think the kind of watercolor, pastel, soft drawn, visual, yeah, it's just very, very satisfying. It's very calming. It's very charming. It's very simplistic. It's not super cartoony. Like I say, it kind of looks more like a very cute, colorful painting, but yeah, it is very pleasing to look at in every way. The soundtrack that accompanies you on your adventures around the town is also very adorable, and it shifts depending on the area of the world that you're in, so you get a familiar tune depending on where you are currently. It's very airy and just really adds to the whole pastoral, relaxed, magic Catland vibe that the whole game is giving off. As far as gameplay goes, the objectives from the offset are pretty much your overall goals, as well as clearing out certain obstacles to make sure all the different areas of the town are accessible. You can also receive social quests from different people in the town, and I do just want to stop a moment and just generally talk about how well the NPCs are put together. The townsfolk in this game have by far some of the best representation in NPCs in any game I've seen in a very, very long time. It's really refreshing. There's such a wide variety of characters, and a game that displays their pronouns in the little tab of your diary. I was a big fan of that. There's people of all different ethnicities, all genders, all body types, all appearances, it's very diverse. And I think as far as making sure that everyone feels seen in a game that they play, they've done very well. It's very inclusive. It's very, very well done. The quests from the townsfolk are usually little fetch quests, so go deliver this, tell so-and-so that, go find my cat, stuff like that. They're not massively time consuming, and you get rewarded with either money or items or recipes for your cafe, or a combination of all of the above, and they're really useful. The only thing I would say is the mini-map that you get in the game isn't necessarily that helpful. When you just start out, the game can be quite difficult to navigate, in my opinion, so those tiny quests can feel a little bit more gargantuan. I don't know, they are quite difficult when you're not quite sure what you're doing. But you do get used to it, once you do, you find your bearings pretty quickly. Also, it's again very low pressure, because none of the quests are time dependent, or you have to do this right here, right now, or it'll go away. None of the quests ever disappear, so it's very much do them in your own time. whenever you want to do them, whenever you figure them out. It's totally fine. Now on to acquiring animals for your cafe. You can simply pick them up from running around town and the woods and stuff. You can use your animal commands to tell them to go to the cafe, and they'll just live there until or unless you tell them to leave. The game does say cat cafe, but you can really end up with all kinds of animals. I think I ended up with like cats, dogs, bunnies, raccoons, birds, polar bears. I think I had a horse. It's really very open, and I really loved accumulating different kinds of animals. You can also get potions from one of the people in the town, and this was absolutely one of the most entertaining and charming parts of the game. One of the potions allows you to size up your animals, and this made the animals at the cafe big enough to be mounted and ridden. I don't know why I found my character riding on the back of a cat quite as amusing as I did, but I really did. It was just so delightful, and the potions were just a lot of fun, and they brought something different to the game. And you could change up the aesthetics and abilities of your animals. And there's also some potions which can change your character's aesthetic and abilities too, but don't want to give a massive spoiler there, you'll find out for yourself. The other part of the cafe is making bakery items to sell. The cooking in the game is also like a very, very quirky thing. It's a quirky concept. It's kind of a mini game style quest. Your character shrinks down to like this tiny size, and you have to throw the ingredients into a bowl. It's very random. I'm not sure why it's a thing. I found it really, really amusing, very enjoyable. And I really liked buying and discovering new recipes so I could go in and play that little mini game as much as possible. It was a lot of fun. Also, if you're into organising spaces and decorating in games, you can also really get into the redesign of your cafe and decide on the kind of style of furniture you want, like what kind of style of chairs and stuff like that. You can change up what's on the walls, get new display cases, put furniture outdoors, etc. I don't know. It was again something that I found very, very enjoyable, very relaxing, very laid back, very low pressure. Just buy new bits and bobs and rejig the layout of my cafe whenever I wanted. So if that's something that you really enjoy in games, you like kind of redecorating, that's totally in there as well. My only real complaints about the gameplay were that there were a couple of bits that were a little buggy. There was a quest where I got stuck for a few in-game days trying to find a certain animal that they said was in a certain location, but it wasn't because I'd actually already put it in my cafe. I figured it out though, I ended up releasing it and then recapturing it, but stuff like that was a little bit buggy in certain places. But that's a little bit of a picky one. I ended up figuring it out, so no like major quarrels with it. Like there was nothing major, nothing like game breaking that meant I couldn't progress or enjoy it. Yeah, the game was just so relaxing. It was so calming. It honestly made me very, very happy, and I enjoyed it so, so much. My only genuine complaint that isn't very minimal or petty is that I wish that it lasted longer. It felt like it was over so quickly, and I'd enjoyed it so much, and I just wish that there was more to it. I think in total, the game, start to finish, with me doing genuinely everything possible to do, was around 5.5, 6 hours, which is fine. It's absolutely worth like what I paid for it, but I just selfishly wish that there was more to it. Like maybe if there was an ability to expand your cafe more, or you could decorate the garden more, have more animals in your cafe, or even like maybe Stardew style, like start up a relationship. I don't really know. I just wanted more to do. I'm really hoping that they add to it or update it in the future, but I still loved it. If you're looking for a very laid back indie title that gives you the chance to bake and decorate and run around and ride a giant cat and do some very interesting out of the box additional things, then go pick it up because I really honestly adored it and I can't recommend it enough. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. If you guys have any interesting indie games you'd like me to take a look at, I would love the suggestions. I really want to find more like cute, quirky, interesting things on this kind of wavelength. So please suggest them down below if you have them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.